Okay, welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin Jarina, and first and foremost, testing out a few things today. I'm with Harmonious Healings here in Collinswood, New Jersey, though moving to a virtual business, virtual practice, where I'm bringing you content information to help see how your pain, your symptoms, and your beliefs are causing the things that are good in your life and also bringing you the challenges. But there's more to the story than just that. And I want to share a little bit about that today. So, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in on Facebook Live. If you can hear my voice, please give a thumbs up. That way I know you can hear me or make a comment. Otherwise, let's continue. So, let's turn off the music. Let's get into the content here. So, welcome again. I'm Dr. Kevin Jarina, and I want to show you an article that I popped on today that really diverted me throughout all my morning. So this article, Rare Astrological Alignment, January 17th to 21st. Now, actually, when I dug into this article, those dates, I believe, are wrong. And here, let me talk to you a little bit about what's going on here. And this term, APDM, all planets in direct motion. Okay, so when I started looking that information up, it brought me to this website here. And as you can see, the date says January 6th. And this zone right here. And it ends March 5th. Now, if you're lost, if you're following me here, and you're lost about why I'm showing you this information, I want to explain a little bit about what's going on here. So, in psychology, there's a group of professionals that term themselves as astropsychology. And why is this important if I'm talking to you about what's going on here? Let me pull my image up here on the camera. So why is this important? Well, when I look back and get into a few different articles here, and here's one in Psychology Today. Modern society likes the idea that we can think ourselves better when we're unwell. We tell ourselves that if we adopt a positive mental attitude, we will have a better chance of recovery. And this is true in the science. I'm sure that this is correct. But society has not fully woken up to the frequency for which people do the opposite, unconsciously think themselves ill. So the term in psychology, and term in medical, the medical field is psychosomatic disorders. And what I'm proposing to my clients in the chiropractic field, the chiropractic professionals, and this is well known in our field, is that it can cause real disease and disability. One of the most wonderful researchers I've ever met and listened to their material and read their material is Dr. Candace Pert, who has since passed in 2013. What was really critical is that she was able to demonstrate that our thoughts and our emotions affect us on our individual cells, at our individual cellular level, and therefore our organs and our entire body. This is well documented and well known and well practiced in traditional Chinese medicine. So I pulled up an article here on verywellmind.com, and it talks about how there's primary emotions that are associated with every organ. Now, I haven't found a specific point here in the article to show you, but let's start with the spleen. And you can see that in traditional Chinese medicine, which I believe has been practiced in written history with over 5,000 years, and that means the oral history, the knowledge passed down generation to generation, has been much longer than that. So we can look at spleen, we can look at lungs, we can look at liver, heart, and kidney. And those are the primary organs in traditional Chinese medicine, but the study goes way deeper and involves every part of the body, every aspect of the body. And so I wanted to share this knowledge of how our emotions and our physical body and our organs, they all go together. And so when you're getting a symptom in life, we can start to understand the root of it, which is important. What is the cause? Now, I'm jumping ahead there to that Hebrew clip, so let me back up here a second. Let's go into the understanding that our body is responding to let's see if I can find the right thing here. There we are. Our body is responding to our environment. There we are. Our body is responding to our environment. And so when the temperature changes, our body has to adapt. Now, one of the ways we kind of meet that ahead of the game is we watch the news, we watch the weather report. We want to know what's happening so we can dress accordingly. And so let's take another step to a different analogy for a second. Our body and how it responds. And when I showed you the image here, let's see if I can pull that up. When I showed you this image here of the countdown, this all planets in direct motion has begun January 6th. By the time that was during a very interesting lunar eclipse with solar eclipse with I'm forgetting all the terminology, but it was a very important time there. And by the way, if you're listening live on Facebook, please give me a thumbs up if you can hear my voice. That way I know I'm recording appropriately. So I showed you this image here, and if you can't see the image on Facebook, it's because I'm showing it live on YouTube. When we look at the human body, we go to ask any nurse in the ER. You can ask them how much crime is going on, how many people are being admitted, how many babies are being born. They'll tell you it's all increased during a full moon cycle. And what about crime? You ask a police officer, they'll tell you the same, crime is up. So we all have heard the term, the wolves howl at the full moon. And if you ask a boat captain, a ship captain, you will see that the tides are higher and lower during the full moon cycles. They're also higher and lower during the solstice. There's also effects during eclipses. So the January 6th date coordinated with an eclipse, coordinated with a solar, with I believe a full moon or a new moon, one of the primary points in the high and low parts of the cycle. And our bodies, our minds, our lives work and are affected with these energies. So we have an external force, and then we have our internal response to those pressures, just like the weather analogy I gave you a moment ago. So when it's cold outside, we check the weather report, we want to see what the temperature is, we want to know how to address it appropriately. And the same is true when the weather gets warm, we check the weather report, we want to know how to address it appropriately so we can go outside and meet life and have a great experience. So what does it all come down to right now? So why is this important? Because I believe, and based on this woman whose website I'm on here showing you, which is called allplanetsdirect.com, the study of astrology goes way back, and it's also included biblically. And when it comes to astronomy, there's also a lot of connections. So there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, on the right hand side, if you're looking on YouTube, and God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to distinguish between day and night, and to mark the seasons and days and years." And so if I look at a more common language today version, let's see here. Basically what this verse is talking about is how the stars, the planets, the cycles of all that are to help us understand the rhythm of life. Now, what we've missed as a society collectively is that our minds, our behavior, our consciousness, our physical bodies are also affected by these positions. And so we see it in the hospitals, we see it in the police officer, at the police stations, we see it in science, we see it in all these different areas of life that we are affected by the position and movements. So Now, this becomes important because here we are. All planets are going direct, and that's why I have this clock up. And then there's another phase here in March and April, March 29th to April 11th. And what the theory is here in the astrology side of the concerns is that now it's a place of great positive momentum, an opportunity to move your desires, move the things that you're being called to put forth, move them forward. So if you're starting a business because you're inspired to, if you're having relationship challenges or relationship breakthroughs, this is the time that it's going to test you and then propel you to be your greatest version. If you're starting a new hobby, a new endeavor, this is the time that is being called forth is now. So there's a lot of change happening in our politics, a lot of change happening around the world, a lot of change happening within, and this is all a time that we're being called to find our truth within, our authentic voice, and move that forward. The challenge is we all have fears wrapped into that, and we can begin to identify that through all kinds of different methodologies and techniques, and that's another conversation for another time or space. So I pulled up the Bible because that's a lot I know about growing up and getting into the origin, the word seasons. Okay, now let me go back to YouTube here, pull that up. So here I was. We're talking about how even biblically we're instructed to look at the signs and the stars. And then when I like to find the origins of things. So I went to a concordance online and I was looking up the word seasons. And so this stands for, if we're going to define it, an appointed place, an appointed time, a meeting, a sacred season, a feast, just like we just had the holiday season. I also believe there's bigger cycles than what we see in a 1 year cycle. I believe there's lots of size cycles, and I have an analogy I like to refer to as the clock. And so our life is rhythmic. Our life is rhythmic, and it is in tune with the flow of what's happening outside of us. So we have the second hand that wraps around every minute. You have the minute hand that goes around every hour, the hour hand that goes around every day. What happens if there's bigger hands? So a hand that goes around once a week, and a hand that goes out once a month, and a hand that goes around once a year, and a hand that goes around once a decade, and there's every 100 year. What happens if there's other cycles that have different numbers? And so as these cycles go around and around and around, well, every once in a while, and based on the universal clock that I look at and research and find online, is about 26,000 years. And in some charts, in some calendars, in some systems, we are at a very critical point in human history, world history. So this is what I am referring to by these external forces, and then we have our internal forces that respond to them. And our body's in the middle. Our body's in the middle. And now let's bring it back to the idea that our emotions and our physical body are interplaying all the time. And so when there's a symptom in our physical body, there's a pain, an ache. Now, there's going to be multiple reasons that correlate with physical to mental, emotional, to the chemical and toxins out there, to our nutritional status. All these play a role. But as you start to dig in and correlate the different sciences, you see that all of these layers work together at the same time. And so this is a concept in my book, Decode Your Pain, that I believe it's chapter 5, that is, life is a Mandelbrot. And what is a Mandelbrot? Mandelbrot is that psychedelic pattern that repeats over and over again the more you look at it. And so life is like that as well. But we are called to, and I believe this is the time now, and this is why I am putting this video out there, is that we are being called now to find our truth, to shed the fears and learn how to live together, to rise to our highest self, to be a contributor to our life, to be a contributor to our families, to be a contributor to the world in positive ways. So I'm typing in my website so I can show people a few things. And and the reason being is I wanted, of course, I'm out there in the world. I'm trying to make a living. I'm earning, and I want to put good content out there for everyone to participate in. So my business, Harmonious Healings, is about helping people grasp the understanding of this information I'm trying to put out there. And I'm working on better and better explanations. But this is a live test and shooting it right out there and hoping people are picking it up and wanting to help them connect. So on the website, the book, uh, I'm giving it away for free. It's called Free Plus Shipping. So you take care of the shipping, I get the book to you for free, and it walks through a bit of the philosophy, a lot of the philosophy of how our physical pains, our life problems, are are related to our thoughts, to our feelings, and to our emotions. And these are things that are happening consciously, but these are things that are also happening subconsciously. And what I mean by that is, this is what any psychologist can tell you, is much of our experience and beliefs, perceptions of life are rooted in our upbringing in the first few years of our life. And so we are literally absorbing what it is to be a human being in the first 7, 8, 9 years of our existence. And then as we mature, we start to play out those programs, the programming. We start to test the theories. And if they are, well, sound, well, then we have success in those areas of life. If those theories are out of balance, they're not related to how it is to be a loving, caring, wonderful individual in all these different ways, on all these different levels. Again, this is another whole topic for all kinds of different videos. But nonetheless, then we start to test those theories, and then we get the feedback back, and that feedback is negative. Whether it's how we expect things to occur, or how we speak to other people, or how we think other people treat us, a lot of that is wired in from the beginning and imprinted in the beginning. So you can go to this, hit this button, get your free copy of the book, and then after the book, there's a number of offers to help people get more content, more depth in the experience, so you can have that true transformation that you want in your life to be your best version. So the rest of the site is dedicated to my physical practice. There's nutrition and energy healing that can be done anywhere in the world where you are. I help people with that, and I like to share all kinds of information, products, and ideas. So I have free stuff here in the resource section. There's courses and other products you can get to help purify your life. And that's essentially how we start responding to life in better ways. We start giving ourselves that daily requirement of thinking well, moving well, eating well, sleeping well, breathing well, communicating well. It's a totality of life's experience that as we do a little bit every day for ourselves, we enhance our experience, we enhance our life, we enhance our contributions, and this is what I'm hoping for everybody out there. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me test out a bit of my technology. If you have questions, please reach me at contact@drkeving.com. Check out the links. There's other ways to get a hold of me and interact with me, all kinds of social media. So please like, subscribe, and share. I'm just wanting to get good information out to the world, which has helped me see the world and see my life and see my health in new and really interesting ways, and helping people transform my practice, both over the phone, over the internet, or in person. So blessings and best regards to you. Have a wonderful day.